Hello, this is Matt from tracyandmatt.co.uk and for unboxings.com, and here I have another white box from HTC. This time inside we have the HTC Wildfire S, which is the successor to last year's model HTC Wildfire, which was really popular, still on sale right now, and has been popular and successful. So we're going to do a quick unboxing video of the Wildfire S. I'll come back to this in just a second. We're going to have a look at what else is inside. Please do bear in mind that this is a PR model and is obviously slightly pre-release. I'm told that we have the full and final hardware and full and final ROM, but obviously the box is going to be different when you actually get the full retail version. It won't be a white box, it'll be, you know, a much prettier box design. Inside we have a USB charger, which is obviously white. And then we have a UK 3-pin plug to go with it, which just goes in and twists to actually give us the USB charger. We then have this right here, a USB to micro USB sync and charge connector to go with the charger, and obviously to also connect to your PC or your Mac to transfer media and so on, and synchronize to and from your computer. And then finally we have a headset which has got foam headphone covers and a clip for clipping it onto clothing, and then the headphones themselves, which are sort of the in-ear style, but not the noise isolation or right ear canal type headphones. Bit plasticky, bit kind of cheap feeling, bit lightweight. Inline microphone with a push button with obviously the HTC logo there, and a 4-pole 3.5mm jack, which means that we can use we'll be able to use our own headphones rather than this headset. So that's quite cool. Most people, I suspect, like me, will use their own headphones. So let's take a look at the handset first of all. On the front we have a 3.2-inch diagonal display, which has been increased in resolution from last year's model. Last year was, the Wildfire was quarter VGA. This is now half VGA, which is 320 by 480 pixels, so a little bump in resolution. Underneath we have capacitive touch buttons for home, menu, back and search, and a pretty large loudspeaker on the front there, as you can see. Left hand side, up and down volume control, rocker there, just simple buttons, and below that we have the micro USB connector. On the bottom we have a little hole there, which is actually the hole for connecting in a phone charm or a lanyard. Goes in there around a little post inside, and then a little hole next to that, which is actually the microphone on the bottom. On the right hand side there's absolutely nothing to see, but looking at it like this you can see that there is this familiar sort of chin design at the bottom there, just a little up curve, which makes it a little bit more interesting. Also feels kind of nice in the hand. On top we have the power button, and then the 3.5mm headphone connector, which, as I say, can use ordinary headphones or a wired headset, either the one that comes with it or your own. A little cutout there which allows us to remove the back cover, which we'll do so in just a second. On the back is the loudspeaker for the ringer, a 5-megapixel camera and an LED flash. You can see that this is sort of a silver grey finish on the back, which is slightly darker than the bezel around the front, and the silver-ish bezel around the front has just a slight pinky purple tinge to it, which looks quite interesting under this sort of lighting. On the front here, don't know if you can really make them out, but you've got the old ambient light sensor and proximity sensor, no forward-facing camera. If we just open up the back, so the back kind of peels open, there we go, like so, and the whole of the back cover, including this bit of chin at the bottom, comes off, which gives us access to the battery compartment. So the battery itself, which is I believe 1230 milliamp hours, so that's a reasonably high capacity. SIM card goes in here, and then the micro SD card goes inside. Supports up to 32-bit micro SDHC memory cards, and I have a 2GB in there at the moment. I suspect that the actual memory card that you get with it will depend on the carrier, or whether or not you're getting it SIM free. I guess 2GB is going to probably be the minimum. If I said 2 meg already once, I meant 2GB obviously. So that's sort of really around the hardware. Let's just turn on And while we're waiting for it to power up, let me mention the rest of the spec. It's a little bit lighter than last year's model at 105 grams and slightly smaller. It's 101 millimeters from top to bottom, 59 millimeters wide, and 12.5 or 12.4 millimeters thick. Feels quite light, and to be honest, compared to some of the other handsets I've been reviewing lately, such as the Arc, the Desire S, and the Nexus S, it feels kind of small. It's quite refreshing actually. It's a nice compact, not tiny handset, but a littler handset, which is quite nice. Performance bump as well in terms of specification. The CPU is actually 600 megahertz, where previous model was 528, and also has 512 meg of ROM and 512 meg of RAM, which is again a slight increase over last year's model. 5 megapixel camera is the same as last year. In terms of other specification, we have built-in GPS, supporting AGPS, Bluetooth 3.0 with FTP and OPP support for file transfer, and A2DP support also. Built-in Wi-Fi supporting 802.11b, G and N standards, which is really good because N standards are becoming a lot more widespread now, which is great. 3G, GPRS, Edge, and obviously, as I mentioned, Wi-Fi. So let's take a quick look at the OS. Familiar HTC Sense lock screen, so we swipe down to unlock. We have the first screen asks us which language, which obviously we're going to use English, United Kingdom. Then we talk about removing the back cover and inserting the SIM, which we're going to skip for now. Tells us how to use the keyboard. Tells you how to transfer settings from another phone. Set up an internet connection. So we're going to set mobile network or Wi-Fi, or Wi-Fi only. We'll leave that as it is. Automatically sync data we're going to leave. And we're going to set up a Wi-Fi network. So let me just sign into a Wi-Fi. And before I actually do, there's the on-screen Qwerty, which is a reasonably large. In actual fact, typically takes up half the screen, as you can see there. And it's a fairly standard-looking Android Qwerty keyboard. Now, obviously, if I turn the other way, there should be an accelerometer, which actually hasn't been activated in the setup, interestingly. So we'll look at that again in a moment. So there we are, connected to the wireless network there. So we'll go to next, and we'll use the Google location. We're happy with that. We can then set up Google account, email, ActiveSync account, Facebook, Flickr, and so on. I'm going to skip that for just a moment, and also skip setting up the date and time. Not worried about that right now. So obviously you only have to go through that setup once. If you skipped any of the things that you wanted to come back to, you can go back through the app menu in here, go through the launcher, and you can actually just rerun the setup there if you wanted to. So, but obviously we don't need to. We'll go back home. So we are presented with the familiar home screen for HTC Sense. So on the main screen we have the time, the weather, and the temperature. It includes my location, tips, Android market, messages, email, internet, and camera. We can swipe to the left to find friend stream for Facebook and Twitter integration, and also Flickr for that matter. And then we have the HTC, I think that's the news widget there. Coming back the other way, we have people, Google search with voice search there as well. People actually sets up speed dials for your favourites. And then we have a media control there, no music found, nothing already installed. And then finally you have a blank page. Obviously we can customize that to our heart's content. We should be able to get into the Leap view, which is the 7 panels represented as smaller icons. So if we've lost that favourite widget, or we're not sure which panel it's running on, we can just pick it. And then if we hold down on any blank space, we can add different scenes. So we can change the scene selection for various modes, or we can add widgets such as calendars, clocks, Facebook widgets, Google search, latitude, and so on. There's quite a few there that you can choose from, so that's quite good. Or indeed we could actually change the skin, so we can change the overall theme of the handset too. This is a fairly new introduction with this version of HTC Sense, and the new round of handsets that come with the S moniker. There are only 2 skins on this particular model, but we can download more using the Get More feature there. We're not going to change anything just at the moment. We'll come back out and we'll go back home. Tapping the home button again will bring me into Leap, and so we can go in and out of Leap mode. Buttons along the bottom, well, you've seen me use the launcher button already, so we can get and see all of our apps. So we can scroll through our list of apps, and there are 3 pages of apps there already. Then we have the favourites, so we can add things, or frequent. So frequently used stuff is in here, and you can see that the setup, if we want to rerun it, is already in there. And downloaded, so all of our downloaded apps there, or recently downloaded apps, are going to be shown there too. Back home, also at the bottom you have the phone, so very important. A nice straightforward dialer with large buttons. Capacitive touchscreen means that it works very well. Nothing terribly unusual or clever about it, but it's just one of those things. It's nice and simple and works, and we can turn off and on the buttons. If we had any contacts already synchronized, when you start dialing a number, it will actually show up anything that matches both in terms of the name or the number that you're dialing, which is quite good. We haven't got anybody synchronized just yet. So I'm going to go and sign into Android Market, because that will allow me to start synchronizing up as well. So let's sign into a Google account with a username. And do we have... There we go. We have the landscape keyboard. Now that we're past the setup, the accelerometer is working for both portrait and landscape keyboards. So in landscape orientation, obviously the keys are a little bit larger, and we can use them sort of both thumbs there to do our typing. So let me just go and sign into that. So we just sign in, and we'll allow the backup and restore, and we'll do the finish setup and accept the terms and conditions. So that should take us into Android Market, which I'm sure almost everybody will have seen before. But the good thing about signing into Android Market is that it will also start setting up my Google email account, because they are linked. So you've got apps there, and you have games, and you have obviously the HTC recommends stuff there as well. Every time I touch the capacitive screen or the capacitive buttons at the bottom, there is a slight vibrate from inside, so simulating like a haptic feedback, which is either love it or hate it, I guess, but I think it works quite well. You'll notice we've got some icons at the top which we can just pull down, and we can see that the last thing that I used was Android Market and then the phone, and also it was just downloading something there, an update, which it has already just installed, but that's what one of the icons was there. It's telling me to set the current time, updates that were available, which we could actually go in and actually look at. So we have a number of updates that are available for us, so we could download update for Google Maps, Facebook, Gmail or YouTube. I'm not going to do that just now, but obviously I will do so before I actually do the full review. So we just come back out of there. Now if I go into Launcher and I go and find my Gmail, hopefully, yep, there we go, it's already started pulling down my Gmail, which obviously I actually only use for reviewing handsets, so there we go. That's already brought down my mail, which is quite good. Now I can sign into another email account if I want to, which we can do through here. So we can set up Microsoft Exchange email or POP3 IMAP email accounts too. Again, I'm not going to do that right now, but I will do that when we come to do the review. We've got calendar, camcorder, camera, FM radio, which is great, the FriendStream application, which is the other part of FriendStream widget. So I haven't signed into any social networks yet. I could do so if I wanted to. So I've got the choice of Facebook, Flickr or Twitter. Again, not going to do that right now because it's going to get overly complex, but we'll do that later on. Facebook as an application, as you can see there, there's a gallery application, HTC Likes and HTC Hub. Well, the Hub is for, no, it's not actually going to allow me to use that. And HTC Likes, let's see if that's going to, no, both of them are going to require me to have a SIM card. I'll do that later. But that's sort of a variance of sort of like Android Market. It's stuff that's typically, it's actually recommended by HTC. We've got our internet browser, which immediately wants to go to Google, and we're not going to go there. We're going to go to our site. Now the screen is fairly small in terms of what I've been used to recently, so I'm having to think a little bit about being careful to type in, and it's something that I know I'll get used to, and it's working quite well actually. It's been quite forgiving for my large fingers, and as I say, it's actually quite nice to have a smaller handset for a change. There we go, and that's loading very quickly. I'm using broadband and Wi-Fi connection, but that loaded really quickly, rendered really quickly too. And despite it being only a half VGA display, it's done a really good job at actually displaying the page. Now I can't read the text in that resolution. I possibly could do this way around. Yeah, even the small text there I can read, but I can zoom in and out using 2 fingers for pinch and pull zooming, or I can tap on a body of text and zoom in and actually look at a lump of text like that, which will reflow the text so it actually all fits on screen. That works really well. The colours are good, and the display is very sensitive. And I say, considering it's only a half VGA display and it's only 3.2 inches, that's not bad at all. It's totally usable in that resolution. I'm sure a lot of people are going to prefer larger screens, but that's not what this phone's all about. Also in here we have latitude and Google Maps. I'll just pop into Google Maps, see if we've picked up a location. Yep, we've already picked up a location, which is really great. So that's very quick. I am indoors, and to already pick up a GPS location isn't bad at all. Some handsets don't even pick them up at all indoors, so that's not bad at all. And there we go, and it's free. It seems very quick actually. The handset seems quite snappy. And then we come back out there. What else have we got? Let's also look at YouTube. And go ahead and search for. Oops, didn't type that right. Leo D being my YouTube alias. So there we are. We have all of the unboxing videos that I've done in the last 3 years, all listed there. So let's just jump into one of them. That's buffering, and it's already playing. So the delay there, what, maybe 5 or 6 seconds in buffering, started playing. And if I turn the handset this way, it's full screen. And if I turn it the other way, there we go, it's quarter screen, and then you've got all the bits down the bottom, such as the description, related videos, and any user comments. I really do like the YouTube application on Android. I think it's actually the best implementation of a YouTube app, so it's very good. In terms of what else we've got, well, I think that covers the basics. We've got the weather app, which is going to give me a 5-day forecast. Wi-Fi hotspot, voice recorder, videos, which we're not going to have anything for. Stocks. I don't think many people's stocks are going in the direction of that arrow. We've got the voice recorder there. Peep, which is a little Twitter client, which is quite lightweight but works very well. We've got the settings menu that we can go into also. HTC customised the settings menu to a small degree, just makes it a little bit more interesting with the coloured icons. So we can actually see the about, and there we can see the version of the phone, which I'm being really blind. There we go, phone identity and model. It tells us that it's the Wildfire S. Device information, and we've got software information in here. So it's Android 2.3.3, which is Gingerbread, and HTC Sense 2.1. So I think that really does cover a lot of the basics of the HTC Wildfire S. I'll have a full review for you over the next couple of weeks, if not sooner. I'm going to put it to the test, going to actually be using it, and I'm really looking forward to using a slightly smaller handset for a change. I'll have that review for you as soon as I possibly can. In the meantime, if you want to follow us on Twitter, it's twitter.com/TracyandMatt or facebook.com/TracyandMatt.co.uk. please do feel free to ask me any questions. I will try and cover that either in the review or by directly replying to you. I'll be back soon with some more videos and reviews on tracyandmatt.co.uk, but for now, thanks for watching.